I've been playing around with the brand new Premier Yarns Minikins Chenille, and I've learned a couple of tricks, and I hope they'll help you out too. Each mini skein makes one large granny square, and they are so pretty and oh so soft. The yarn comes in a total of 12 different colorways, and this is the color Geode. On the Premier website, they recommend using a 6.5mm crochet hook, but that did not work for me. I have a pretty tight tension, so I ended up with way too much yarn left over. So after a time of trial and error, I found that a 9mm crochet hook worked best for me. Now that doesn't mean that everything was hunky-dory and I didn't have to restart the square several times to work out the kinks, because with these self-striping granny square yarns, there is going to be a time of trial and error. Getting the color change to happen in the exact right spot is the biggest challenge with this yarn, so I've got a few tips for you. If you end up not having enough color to finish the round before the color change happens, you have two different options. First, you can remake the round with a tighter tension, and two, you can remake the round with a smaller size crochet hook. Now, I do have an additional option that I only use in case of emergencies. Desperate times call for desperate measures. If you really can't make it work and you still run out of yarn before the color change happens, you can only do 2 double crochets rather than making the 3 double crochets for a traditional granny cluster. I've done it. I'm not proud of it, but sometimes a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. If you end up with too much yarn before that color change happens, that's actually a better problem to have, and you've got 3 different ways that you can fix it. First, you can remake the round with a looser tension. Second, you can just remake the round in a larger size crochet hook. But the third option really is my favorite. This option really only works if you have a smallish amount of yarn left over. This doesn't really work well if you have a lot of yarn left over until the color change. And what I do in this instance is I just slip stitch to the next spot that makes sense for me to make my double crochets. Ideally, this would happen in a corner, but if not, you can also do it in any space where you would naturally make your double crochets. There are several self-striping granny square yarns out on the market, but this one is my favorite, and the reason is because it's made with chenille. Because of its fluffy nature, mistakes and inconsistencies are just less noticeable than with a traditional acrylic yarn. Another great thing about this yarn is that I had no issues with frogging, because you will have to rip out some rounds just to work on that tension, so I found that I didn't have any issues, and that's a big plus for a chenille yarn. Let me know what your thoughts are on self-striping granny square yarns. I would love to hear from you.